Picture the middle of the Nevada desert. You're standing right in the center of Las Vegas, and stretching out in front of you is, it's basically a sensory assault.
Oh, absolutely. It's sensory overload by default.
Right. I mean, we're talking about the heaviest, most advanced machinery on the planet. 3 million square feet of iron and software, 2,000 exhibitors, over 130,000 construction professionals just swarming this trade show floor.
All packed into those few days, March 3rd to the 7th.
Exactly. CONEXPO-CON Ag 2026 just wrapped up. And as the biggest construction equipment show in the world, the sheer scale of it is almost impossible to comprehend unless you're physically there.
Yeah, walking miles of that show floor, surrounded by these towering cranes and giant earth movers, you just get hit with this wall of noise, literally and figuratively.
And the figurative noise is what we really need to talk about, because when you see the media coverage coming out of the event, they focus entirely on the sci-fi stuff.
The flashy headlines.
Right. Excavators that dig trenches by themselves, autonomous fleets doing this synchronized dance, unmanned job sites.
It makes it sound like human operators are going to be obsolete by next Tuesday.
Which is exactly why we're pulling apart this source document today. We're doing a deep dive into Constructing the Future, a practical guide to CONEXPO 2026, because we have a very specific mission for this conversation.
And a very specific listener in mind.
Yes. If you are a mid-sized contractor operating roughly in that $3 million to $20 million revenue range, you do not have the luxury of buying tech just because it looks cool in a YouTube video.
No, you don't have $50 million R&D budgets to just play around with.
You need things that fix the bottleneck you had this week.
So our goal is to decode those massive announcements. We have to separate the trade show hype from the tangible return on investment that you can actually expect over the next 12 to 24 months.
So let's set the scene a bit. The heavyweight presence at the show this year was a perfect example of this collision between tech and traditional iron.
It really was. You had John Deere delivering this massive keynote.
Yeah.
But then you walk over to the groundbreaker stage and you see tech giants like AWS and Autodesk sharing the exact same spotlight as the equipment manufacturers.
The industry isn't just bending metal anymore, they're writing code.
Exactly. And that code was front and center with the autonomous announcements.
Oh man, everyone had their phones out for those.
Yeah.
Caterpillar debuted the CS12 autonomous soil compactor. That's their first fully autonomous machine built for commercial use.
Right.
And then right across the way, Hyundai was showing off RealX, which is their AI-driven system for autonomous digging, loading, and smart safety. And I have to be honest here, if I'm running a $10 million excavation firm, I'm pretty skeptical.
As you should be.
I am not letting a robot dig a trench next to a buried city gas line.
Your skepticism is completely justified. But contrasting those two specific machines actually perfectly illustrates the real timeline of this technology.
Okay, break that down for me.
Let's look at the CAT CS12 soil compactor. That technology is deployable right now.
Because it's a controlled environment.
Exactly. Soil compaction happens on highly predictable sites. It's a repetitive task. You geofence an area, you basically just draw a digital boundary on a tablet and let the machine mow the lawn safely.
Right, but the Hyundai excavator is different.
Completely different. Hyundai's RealX system is dealing with a dynamic, chaotic environment. You have buried utilities, varying soil densities, rocks, a changing job site. Because of that extreme complexity, broad adoption for full autonomous excavation is realistically 2 to 3 years away.
So if full autonomous digging is still a few years out, the guy listening to this in his truck right now is probably wondering why he should even care about it today.
It all comes down to the labor shortage. That is the massive invisible current driving everything on that show floor.
Finding skilled operators is just brutally hard right now.
And expensive. You need someone reliable who won't accidentally tear up a water main. Because labor is so scarce, the financial math on these highly advanced autonomous machines is starting to make sense much earlier than anyone predicted.
So even if you aren't writing a check for an autonomous excavator today, the financial realities of your business are going to make these viable much sooner than you think.
Right. The pain point isn't just the sticker price of the machine anymore. It's the cost of the empty seat inside the cab.
Or the cost of an inexperienced operator slowing down the whole project.
Exactly. But let's bring it back to what you can deploy this week.
Yes, let's talk about the AI assistant Caterpillar announced, because this targets the absolute headache of fleet management. They integrated this AI with VisionLink using a new partnership with Geotab.
And we should definitely define what that actually means on the ground. Geotab is essentially the gold standard for telematics.
Just transmitting data from the machine to the computer, right?
Exactly. GPS location, engine hours, fuel consumption. What Caterpillar did is bring your on-highway fleet data, your Ford F-250s and delivery trucks, and your off-highway dozers and skid steers into one single platform.
Which is huge. Anyone managing 10 or more pieces of equipment knows the absolute chaos of having 14 different logins for tracking software.
It's a nightmare.
You spend your Friday night staring at spreadsheets trying to figure out which machine needs an oil change and which one is just sitting idle on a dirt lot across town.
And this AI assistant doesn't just dump raw data on you, it does the math.
Right.
You get an alert on Tuesday morning saying, Machine 4 is at 10% fuel and due for service. Route it to the shop, not the downtown site.
Removing that daily friction is incredible.
It really is. And to that point, market intelligence from Smart Business Automator has been tracking these exact equipment technology trends. Their analysis confirms that fleet management AI and telematics integration are where mid-sized firms are seeing the fastest, most immediate return on modest investments.
You aren't buying $1 million machine. You're buying software that makes your existing $1 million fleet work 20% harder.
Precisely. Now, speaking of making the fleet work differently, we have to talk about the shift in powertrains.
It was impossible to ignore. The push away from traditional diesel is gaining serious momentum.
Big time.
Caterpillar brought an all-new electric drive medium dozer to the floor. Bomag was showing off a commercially viable electric tandem roller and an electric plate compactor. And then HD Hyundai pushed it even further with actual hydrogen engines.
And high-performance battery packs.
Yeah. But my immediate thought looking at all this is the infrastructure problem. You can't just run an extension cord from a porta-john to a 10-ton dozer on a raw dirt lot.
The charging infrastructure is absolutely the bottleneck for heavy earth-moving equipment, no question. But for the mid-size contractor, we really have to look at the total cost of ownership, the TCO, specifically for compact equipment.
Because it used to just be a gimmick.
Right. For a long time, an electric roller was something a massive global corporation bought just to put on the cover of their sustainability brochure.
Just for the PR.
Exactly. But the TCO math is actively shifting now. Electric compact equipment is becoming a highly strategic bidding tool.
Because the environment dictates the tool. An electric plate compactor makes 0 sense in a rural trench where noise and emissions don't matter at all.
Right.
But if you are bidding on an indoor hospital renovation or a dense urban environment with strict noise ordinances where you have to work at 2 in the morning, that electric machine gives you a massive advantage.
It might literally win you the bid over a competitor who only runs diesel.
Wow.
And beyond the bidding advantage, the maintenance profile is entirely different. No oil changes, far fewer moving parts, and you eliminate the logistics of getting a diesel fuel truck into a tight, congested city job site.
So the upfront sticker price is higher, but the daily operating cost drops dramatically.
That's the trade-off.
Okay, so that electric roller saves you on fuel and maintenance. But let's talk about the tech that's going to save your insurance premiums.
The safety technology.
The safety tech this year was staggering. And it is rapidly moving from a premium optional add-on to an absolute industry standard.
It has to.
Cat Detect with collision mitigation was a huge standout. We also saw an explosion of wearable technology for the crew, 360-degree camera systems, proximity detection sensors.
Think about the reality of a busy job site. It's loud, it's chaotic, there are blind spots everywhere, and operator fatigue is a very real factor.
Proximity sensors alert an operator when a worker on foot gets too close.
But active collision mitigation takes it a step further. The machine doesn't just beep at you, it actively stops itself before the operator even has time to hit the brake.
It takes human reaction time completely out of the equation.
Exactly. The priority is obviously protecting your crew and sending everyone home safe. But there is a massive financial hook here for the business owner, too.
Because for years, contractors just bore the cost of this safety tech without any help from the insurance industry.
Right. But now, providers are finally stepping up. They are offering real premium reductions for contractors who deploy these tech-enabled safety systems.
They recognize that a $5,000 collision mitigation system is going to prevent a $5 million payout.
It actively lowers your operating overhead. And the data from Smart Business Automator shows exactly which of these safety technologies are strongly correlated with actual insurance savings.
So you don't have to guess which camera system the underwriters prefer. the data actually shows what moves the needle on your premiums.
Exactly. You can be strategic about it.
Okay, so we've covered autonomous compactors, AI fleet management, electric dozers, wearable safety tech. It is incredibly easy to feel completely paralyzed by information overload here.
Oh, without a doubt.
A contractor listening to this cannot go out tomorrow and buy one of everything. We need to put up some guardrails. Let's introduce a clear, actionable framework for your procurement strategy over the next year.
We need to categorize this into what to buy right now, what to watch closely, and what to watch from a distance.
Let's start with the buy-in W category.
This is all about immediate payoff and protecting your cash flow. This bucket includes telematics, fleet management AI estimating tools, and safety cameras with collision avoidance.
Because they pay for themselves quickly.
Right. If you deploy these today, they will either save you administrative time, reduce your insurance premiums, or eliminate costly equipment downtime within the exact same quarter you buy them. And they require very little physical infrastructure to implement.
Those AI estimating tools tie perfectly into that. Instead of spending your entire weekend doing takeoffs from blueprints, the software handles the raw calculations so you can bid on more jobs with much greater accuracy.
Exactly.
Okay, so what goes into the watch closely category?
Watch closely is where we place the electric compact equipment. Like we discussed, this is highly dependent on your specific job site applications.
So if you do a lot of indoor or urban work, an electric roller might actually be a buy-in W for you.
Right. But for the general civil contractor just moving dirt out in the suburbs, just watch how the total cost of ownership continues to shift. Keep a very close eye on the localized battery and charging infrastructure in your specific operating region.
Makes sense. And finally, the watch from a distance or the weight category.
That includes full autonomous excavation and hydrogen power. These are incredible technological achievements. The engineering is truly brilliant.
Fine.
But the infrastructure, the safety regulations, and the software maturity are simply not there yet for a $15 million contractor to see a reliable ROI. Keep an eye on the headlines, but do not tie up your capital in them today.
That framework is a fantastic way to protect capital. But even for the things in the buy-in W category, adopting new technology always carries financial risk.
Always.
And that brings up a massive strategic shift we saw on the floor regarding how contractors actually acquire their equipment. Caterpillar launched an entirely new rental brand at CONEXPO.
The business model of equipment rental is fundamentally changing. It is becoming the ultimate hack for mid-sized contractors.
How so?
You no longer have to take on massive capital risk just to access newer technology. You don't need to buy an electric dozer to see if your crew will actually use it. You rent it.
Which lets you build a mixed fleet.
Exactly. A highly strategic mixed fleet. You own your core traditional diesel assets, the machines that run in the dirt 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And you rent the highly specialized, technologically advanced equipment only when a specific job demands it.
Like that indoor hospital edition.
Precisely.
All right, so we have the buy, watch, and wait framework.
Right.
We know we can leverage rental to mitigate the capital risk, but that leads to the practical reality of a Monday morning.
The implementation.
Right. How do you actually implement this software or this new machine without a total crew mutiny? You can't just drop an AI assistant and a fleet of electric rollers onto a job site and expect your foreman to just seamlessly figure it out.
If you try to adopt everything at once, you'll paralyze your operations and you'll frustrate your best people. We recommend a strict discipline playbook. It's called the 90-day rule.
Let's walk through that.
Step 1, pick exactly one technology category. Do not pick 2. Pick the one that targets your single biggest current bottleneck.
So if your biggest issue is fuel burn and idle time, pick fleet management AI.
Right. If your biggest issue is safety incidents on tight, congested job sites, pick camera systems. Step 2, trial it for exactly 90 days. And during that window, ruthlessly measure the metrics that actually matter.
And if a listener doesn't even know what their biggest bottleneck is or what tech actually solves it, they don't have to guess. Our research partners at Smart Business Automator spotted this early, and their competitive intelligence shows exactly which technologies are delivering proven ROI for that specific $3 million to $20 million market segment.
You can literally just look at what is already working for firms your exact size.
Okay, so what happens at the end of that 90-day trial?
You make a strict binary choice. The data will tell you the story. Either you scale the technology up across the rest of the fleet, or you switch it out completely.
No lingering.
No lingering. No paying for software subscriptions that nobody is logging into, and no keeping a machine around that the crew absolutely refuses to operate.
That is incredibly practical. But before we wrap up, we really have to talk about the human element of this massive trade show.
It's so important.
CONEXPO features 3 million square feet of iron, but ultimately it is a show about people. It's about the handshakes, the conversations in the booths, the relationships you build with the manufacturers and your local dealers.
Do not let the momentum of the show go to waste. Reach out to the dealers you met. The manufacturers are highly motivated right now. They just spent millions of dollars on these booths to prove that this new technology actually works.
So use that energy to your advantage.
Yes. Use it to negotiate better pricing, secure early access to trial equipment for your 90-day tests, and demand elevated dealer support.
Make them prove it.
Let them prove their new collision mitigation system works on your job site, on their dime, with their dedicated technical support walking your crew through it.
Love that. Let's bring this all home. We have bypassed the overwhelming noise of a massive event, skipping past the shiny sci-fi distractions to hand you the exact technologies worth investigating today.
We covered the integration of AI and telematics to kill the Friday night spreadsheet,
The collision mitigation tech that actively lowers your insurance overhead.
and the strategic use of rental fleets to test electric compact equipment without tying up your cash.
As you look at implementing any of this, we want to leave you with one final provocative thought. We talked extensively about the financial ROI and the 90-day playbook. But consider this. What if the biggest barrier to your success isn't the cost of the new technology, or even its capability?
What if the real barrier is the deeply ingrained habits of the crew operating it?
These operators have been doing things a certain way, relying on their own instincts for decades.
Before you buy the smartest, most advanced machine on the market, you have to ask how you prepare your human workforce to actually trust it. Because if a frustrated operator figures out how to turn the safety sensor off or ignores the AI maintenance alert because he thinks he knows better, all of that capital investment instantly drops to zero.
That culture shift is the hardest part of the job. And it's the exact question every business owner needs to be asking themselves today. The technology is clearly ready, but is your crew's culture ready for the technology?
That's the real test.
Thank you so much for joining us on this custom-tailored deep dive. We hope we've helped you cut through the noise and find the signal. Stay curious, stay safe out there, and keep building the future.